done it. I finally done it. I finished my re-listen of Just Roll With It Riptide. It has taken me 48 work days, starting from January 2nd and finishing on March 14th. And now, to deliver my final thoughts and, more importantly, theories. Now, after many hours of scrupulously listening to every single word these four have said, I think I've narrowed down the answers for some of the fans' dying questions and some important details I think most of us have forgotten. But before we jump into it, spoilers. There will be spoilers. Run while you still can. As I was saying, the mole. I'm starting off with a strong one. I don't think the mole is a doppelganger of John anymore. After some pondering, I've come up with an even worse option, and it's the option most of us are thinking, but different reason. I would like to call back to when Gillian was in the dungeon trials. Specifically in the third trial, it was noted that one of the elders, a female water genasi, looked very familiar, but not in the, oh yeah, that's what they looked like way, when recalling someone's face. It was precisely stated that they looked similar to someone else. And who's the only other water genasi that we know of who, as was said in episode 84, has a sister who went to the capital? The mole has to be Caspian. Now, the why. Why would they choose Caspian, if that's really his name? Why choose a family member of someone on the council? Well, my friend, it all goes back to my previous theory of Doppelgilly. Just to summarize, I think Doppelgilly was originally pitched when Gillian was banished from the Undersea. During that meeting, after he was courted off, I think this genasi elder asked a favor of her impressionable younger brother under the guise of rekindling a relationship. This could also be the reason why Caspian was a bit more shocked when Gillian announced that he was the chosen one of the Undersea. Okay, I can't actually find it, but I have it written specifically in my notes. Like, I have a screenshot of that because I post all my screenshots. You should follow my Twitter. Also, while gathering more information for this, like specific time frames and such, on the wiki, I have learned to never trust the wiki. Never trust the wiki. In episode 101, Lizzie exclaims she met Caspian while on Shadowbeard's crew, but also this just proves that Caspian could have been the one to snitch on Shadowbeard's crew. Chew on that, thought sausage. Long rest the Doppeljohn theory. You were funny while you lasted. The Unnamed Prince. Who is the Unnamed Prince? A question on everyone's mind. I have two possibilities. At first, I thought it was Niklaus himself. I mean, this man is otherworldly, having his own pocket dimension, how other characters who have made deals with him describe him, plus, despite canonicity, in the Just Rolled What If episode where they explore the scenario of what if they all failed to save and turned to stone on the Isle of Ire, Niklaus appeared not as a Hendrix, but as a Van Halen. I personally think these choices have more purpose than just funny haha real 70s rock groups. This is a deliberate decision so we, the viewers, can make that connection. He is not of mana. Let's look at the heavily skimmed version of the story as said in episode 78. The Unnamed Prince is an entity born in the abyss who became obsessed with spreading corruption in a world that was mostly peace. And this corruption spreads to destroy the entire living race. Then goes on to devour more worlds. Sound familiar? Hate me if you want, but this bitch sounds like Jonathan Hunger from the Adventure Zone Balance. There, I said it. Very, very similar to Me and Me Alone. Anyways, Niklaus. He uses deal-making as a way to spread corruption by using your own desires against yourself. The Black Sea is a conduit for corruption, passively coursing through every day you're there. And now, as of episode 115, we know for a fact, that the Navy and Niklaus have a deal. Or something similar. In Admiral Faye Ferin's logbook, it mentions a messenger giving her the way to control the world with her iron fist of justice, or some other tyrannical megalomaniac speech that sounds like it came from a bad Danganronpa OC, or a bit from any Team 4-star abridged series.
I'll tell you where they're not. Safe.
It also mentions that this plan involves letting the Black Sea seep into the other oceans, which would encapsulate the entire world in corruption, effectively destroying the world. Let's explore a different character that could be the unnamed prince. That has way less evidence. Chip. Chip could be the unnamed prince because he is literally unnamed. He was orphaned at birth and did not have a name until he met Arlen when he wanted to go on the ship but mispronounced ship as Chip, thus giving the name and becoming Arlen's ward. A Goliath guarding a small unnamed boy. Sound familiar? Oh, I have it here. Let me read it to you. A map that is a guide and a key passed around the hands of destiny. It leads to chaos infinity beneath the seas. The guarding giant, the nameless prince, the unborn kings, all await to be inevitably free. What's funny is that Niklaus is the first person to call the tattoos a key instead of a map, back when Chip made his first deal. Play the clip.
You find Mr. Tidestrider, the grandfather of the chosen one, and you follow wherever that key or coordinates lead to.
And if anything, it could be a combination of both. Niklaus using Chip. That's why his deal is to keep Arlen, the guarding giant, alive. That's why when Chip steps through the door at the end of episode 115, there's a message in his head saying, "Welcome home." There is a connection between Chip and Niklaus. And Niklaus' greatest desire is freedom. Bruh, it's Niklaus. I don't know what else to say on the matter. Mr. Jayson Ferin. Yo. Jayson is fucking crazy. In episode 100, he turns into a fucking dragon. Let's talk about that. We first meet Mr. Ferin, Vice Admiral of Raft, in episode 53, Not Ferin Well. And he is like a stone wall. Takes a sword in the chest without even flinching. A real lunatic, if you ask me. My point is that he's strong. A force. Could break Newton's first law. Some may say, a fighter. Okay, let me explain. I do this thing where I try to guess the classes and subclasses of random NPCs in the podcasts I listen to. And I also look at the cool subclasses on rpgbot.net. Like, think of Felipe for just a second. Remember Felipe? He had paladin abilities, rogue abilities, I think cleric abilities. I'm pretty sure Felipe had a level in every single class, to be honest. And one day, I was looking at the sorcerer subclasses, and I noticed something very interesting. Okay, I'll cut to the chase. I think Jayson, technically speaking, within the realm of Dungeons and Dragons, was transformed from a fighter class to a sorcerer class. We know he was experimented on via Faye Ferin's logs in episode 115. He got a procedure done at the request of Faye Ferin, his own fucking mother. And I think it was, in technical terms, a change of class. But in the terms of mana, he was mutated. I'm about to say something really fucking crazy. What if the bones in the Eastern Stronghold were not of a Leviathan, but of a dragon? Or a Leviathan that is dragon-like? Either way, there is dragon DNA somewhere in the equation. Jayson was an Eldritch Knight fighter and became a draconic bloodline sorcerer, using the DNA from the bones in the stronghold. Draconic Leviathan injected straight into the strongest man alive to make him even more fucking stronger. This guy's the poster child for the Navy and the Super Soldier Black Ops project. This could all be out of my ass, but it's at least something, okay? Let me cook. A little bit of cleanup. Let's look at my previous theories to see where everything went wrong. The deals. I think Jays could be used soon, but Gills, I'm not sure anymore. Now I'm thinking that the favor will never be used and just be a bargaining chip, if anything. And Chip is about to fulfill his deal, so there's not much else there. Funny cats. Funny cats. Black Sea. Ignore everything I said about the Black Sea. Yeah, that's about it on my previous thoughts. There's one more thing. The most important thing out of this entire video. Where in the world is Taylor Ferin? Well, we actually know that answer. I am very dumb, and I don't listen to things. Taylor Ferin is the Vice Admiral Gil and Chip saw during the battle at Joaldo Island. Then Chip disguises as Taylor when they're breaking into the block. Somehow just completely missed that. But there is a new contender for the most interesting character out of all of Riptide. And that is Gray Ferin. Who is this? This guy or gal or non-binary pal is nowhere to be seen other than, I'm pretty sure, their first and only mention where they go to the Navy base on Allport and their name is on a door. So I'm going to make a theory on them, right? Now, they're the one who led the charge on Shadowbeard and led to Ava's death. Maybe that's why they've never been mentioned since. They're either in hiding or extended leave. They still have a door claiming they're a Vice Admiral. Or could have led the Eastern Seas Stronghold and the experiments. Who knows? It's just a theory after all. That is all I got. My final theory video on Riptide. I promise. But that's not the end of the JRWI logs. I'm continuing that till the end of Prime Defenders. Of course, not giving notes on the things behind a paywall. After episode 5, I will only be giving reactions and any funny comparisons I come up with. Like recently, I called Beano the Wolf T-Rex hybrid they find in episode 4 or something a Stormhound from Wizards 101. If you're interested in that, you should defo follow me on Twitter. And while you're at it, do all the other things YouTubers say to do. Like, comment, subscribe. That felt wrong. Goodbye.